Even though it's been said hundreds of times and probably be said another thousand, I think it's safe to say and fair to say even that Destiny 2 as a whole is in a very stale state, very rough state, very not playable state. But let's be honest, it's not in a state that it can't be revived fully. Many Destiny 1 vets, including myself and others in my community and other people's communities, really expected Destiny 2 to be the culmination of over 3 years of content drought cycles, horrible Crucible metas, basically finally being turned around and giving us the player what we really want and expected. A fun but grindable game. A game with the fine-tuned balance of good enough to keep us coming back for more, and rewarding enough to make our time feel justified. By the end of Destiny 1's life cycle, pretty much the state of the game where we were given known as Age of Triumphs, many people expected that time, or at the very least the last DLC, Rise of Iron, to be the starting point of where we would go and what we would be expecting for Destiny 2 when it was announced. But sadly, in September of 2017, when it arrived, we as players quickly found that many staples of the previous title were left out. Things like heroic strikes, strikes modifiers, strike-specific loot, multiple Crucible playlists, custom matches, random rolls on guns. Many special weapons like shotguns and snipers were removed from their special weapon slots and then added and thrown into the weapon of heavy weapon slots with rocket launchers and swords, while at the same time removing machine guns. It was just really interesting. Even had subclasses that were remade or restructured, and in some cases just straight removed and replaced with something less than the previous build. But altogether, absolutely slowing down the time to kill on weapons and making abilities do less damage over time, while taking longer to use again after the first use. Destiny 2 has been out almost 6 months now, and we're halfway through the first batch of DLC included with our season pass many of us picked up back at launch. Now, I haven't been as vocal about the game because at this point, let's be honest, many content creators have already spoken out and about the game and its issues numerous times. We've had Slayer Rages, big Reddit posts, we've had even Dado coming out, even Goths coming out. Many people have already came out and said a lot of stuff that I would be saying myself. So for me at this point, I'm like, what's the point of me just piling onto a game when we already know what the deal is with the game and how many people will feel? If I put out a video, you basically know what I'm going to say because you've already seen it from a lot of other content creators already. So for the most part, what was the point? What's the point of me piling onto a game at this point? You know, some still like the game, and that's perfectly fine. And many people find that those who oppose it in its current state are also toxic, and that is also where I have an issue with that term. In a lot of cases, a lot of people are just passionate. A lot of people expected this game to be their one game that they had to just focus on playing and giving their time to, and a lot of people to feel that it's been removed from them. You know, I find many times we throw the word toxic around a little bit loosely. Now, to be clear, those people who are going off threatening Bungie devs' lives and their jobs, those people are kind of the people you want to throw that word to. Those people are toxic. Those people just speak out against the game because they want it to be a better game. They want to see the game be the best it can be. Those people really are just passionate. I just wanted to make that clear real quickly. Especially in this day and age, especially with this game and how long we've been dealing with this game, there's a difference on how you're treated and how you should treat these developers. Don't go threatening their lives or calling them trash or anything like that. These people are human beings. They deserve the respect, even if their content right now just isn't what you want it to be or living up to your standards. Don't go out and do all that stuff right there. Many just want the game to be better, and that's true. And I'm pretty sure the developers want it to be better, but in most cases, you know, maybe more than likely, the stockholders at Activision, or at least at Bungie or someone, you know, want the game to be something different than what a lot of us gamers and a lot of people that maybe work at Bungie want it to be itself. For many, including myself, before the game even released, they already had our money. We had already bought the game and the season pass. So for the most part, they have us at least until May 2018. They already have our money then. They don't have to worry about making us buy anything until fall of September of 2018. For some, it could be seen as who cares what happens at this point, because financially there isn't a huge difference between whether or not you play 1 billion hours and have characters on all 3 platforms at 335 max level everything, or you played and got one character to 305, didn't even touch the DLC and stopped, did the raid once or twice maybe. What's the difference if you both, if they got your money equally for both of them? What does it matter? The financial side is either way done for many. On one side, this may infuriate more people because they feel like they paid Bungie for over a year of content, and when they got part of the content, they feel ripped off, and that's a fair assumption. All things considered, I like Destiny 2. I really enjoy it. I enjoy playing with my clan mates who still do a raid once or twice a week. I don't play as much anymore as outside of that though, but even in its current state, at times I do still really enjoy Destiny 2. I spoke highly of it in my community when the game was first announced and everything. I spoke highly of it, very highly I probably would say, in my community, urging people to get it on the ground floor because this was going to be the one. This was a brand new start. We were going to start where we left off. A lot of people didn't want to start off because they were in the middle of the game. They would have a lot of catching up to do. This was a good starting point for a lot of people. So I told them, get in right now, get in at launch so you can be with everybody else. I mean, at this point, sadly, I feel at this point, they would have been better off enjoying Destiny 1 and just, playing through the Rise of Iron collection. They would have had a very fun experience if you got all that at one time, all that content at one time. Can you believe that? Don't get me wrong. There is a lot of things about Destiny 2 that have been improved upon and done right, but there are just as many things that have been done wrong or stripped away from the game. And that's a problem. There needs to be more of the good and less of the bad. I'm not going to go through a list of things. Maybe I'll do a video in the future, but I'm pretty sure, just like everything else I've said, you've already heard it regurgitated over and over and over. If you go to the Destiny game subreddit, if you go to even the Bungie forums, if you check Twitter of a lot of the people that work at Bungie, and whenever they post a tweet, you can see hundreds of thousands of people responding about LOL, dead game, or fix your game, or whatever. And, I don't need to talk about that. You can find many threads and many posts about many things about Destiny 2 at this state of the game. But you know what? I'm hopeful. Hopeful about what Destiny 2 can be in the long run. Maybe it can have that resurgence like the Division is currently in, which, by the way, did appease to my grindy side of gaming last month. I spent a lot of time on stream playing the Division last month, and it was really nice. It gave me a Destiny-ish feel with all of the stuff that I wanted to have in. The grinding, all the stuff like that was really fun, and it's in a really good state. When Division first came out, it was in a terrible state, and over time it's gotten really good. And Destiny 2 could be something like the Division, but who knows? That just depends on what they want to do. I don't expect much from the next DLC. More than likely on par with what we have with Curse of Osiris, or less, to be honest. These DLC, mainly more so Curse of Osiris, was probably already done when the game first launched. By this time, I want to say the second DLC, God of Warmind, whatever they're calling it, God of Mars, is already pretty much almost done. So it's going to not have a lot of changes, if they do any changes, by the time we get to that DLC. However, I do hope that Bungie will right the ship, turn Destiny 2 around, put it back on the right track. I'm really positive about that, and at this point, I hate to say this, nowhere to go but up. Nowhere to go but up. I don't expect it to get any worse. I'd be surprised if it gets a lot worse than this. It's a pretty bad state right now. It's one of the worst, in my opinion, one of the worst kind of content lows we're in all of Destiny. That includes House of Wolves. That includes a lot of stuff. That includes that time where we had no roadmap for like 6 months post Taken King. And then we got the April update. You never know. We'll get something soon, and hopefully we'll start, getting back on the road to being a really great game. Who knows? We will not know. My only fear is that when they do it, it'll be too late. There's a lot of games coming out this year, and as the games come out, you never know what could happen. There could be another looter shooter that takes from Division. You don't know what Anthem's going to do. You don't know what Sea of Thieves is going to do. Who knows? They could pull a lot of the rest of the Destiny people away, and when Destiny finally comes back, they're like, no, I'm good. I'm going to just stick with Sea of Thieves and or Anthem. You don't know. They don't know that either. But that's probably one of the only things I have fear-wise about this game. If none of that happens and they actually start riding the ship, we'll be good in 6 to 12 months. Maybe not good, but we'll be on the right track. I expect to have at least a pretty fun addition to the raid layer with the next DLC, but that's about it. I think at this point, I hop on once a week, like I said, do a raid, and then I'm done. I've had plenty of clan mates, or really people from my community that are part of the clan that I have left. And that's perfectly fine. They went to find a more active clan because a lot of people in my community just aren't playing more than maybe pop on and pick up their raid engrams or their clan engrams that someone else has done. And that's perfectly fine. That's what a lot of people are going to do, and that's just kind of the state of the game right now. I say all that to say this. Destiny is in an interesting place, and that's okay. It's not a dead game if people are still playing it. As long as the servers are up and people are on the servers, it isn't dead. This isn't the first time I've come out and spoken against Bungie. I did it, I think, twice in Destiny 1. And I don't think it's going to be the last time we go through this with Destiny 2. But at this point, the game is in a state that as a gamer I'm bored of. I don't get excitement for loot drops or anything. I miss the grind for that God roll weapon just to make me just a tad bit better in Crucible or in tad bit better in Raised or whatever have you. That I miss, and that bores me that I don't have that. As a content creator, it doesn't need me either. You don't need a video of me telling you get better devils because it has that one roll. That's not as fun as saying get Grass of Malik. Grass of Malik is good with this, and this. This helps you in this position. This helps you in this position. Those type of videos aren't needed anymore because the game has been removed for that need. You don't need me to do, you don't need a lot of content creators to do a video on how to kill Argos, how to kill Callus. What's the best way to do that? Because it's written out of the game. It's removed from the game. You don't have to do that anymore. And it's been dumbed down to the point, or shall I say, the game has been simplified to the point that those videos are not wanted, nor are they needed. Now, someone has asked about, having videos about locations of content like region chats or anything, but for the usual, normal, casual person, there's no point in that either. The one thing it reminds me of is in Destiny 1, when you had the ghosts, and the ghosts were everywhere and hidden. A lot of people, including myself, use videos that basically told you how to get from loading into the map, into the world, and where to drive on your Sparrow to go get that, that ghost. There were multiple reasons why you wanted to get that ghost. You wanted to get it to unlock the Grimoire score from it, and also to read the lore behind it. Those are really two things that many people wanted to have. And having that Grimoire score be pretty high, let people know. It was kind of just like a bragging rights thing, but it was actually pretty cool to have. You could see who was not really a noob, but who had more time in the game than others just by off that Grimoire score. And for some people, they wanted the lore. They wanted to know more about the backstory of the game, so they went out and found all the ghosts. And even something as irrelevant as a Grimoire score was enough reason for a lot of people to grind it out. Maybe in another video, I'll go into more details on things like this and other things about what Destiny 2 needs to bring back from Destiny 1. But to be honest, I probably won't do it. Maybe once, but it's not needed. It's been done so many times now. You probably don't want to hear it again. But at this point, let's just kill the phrase Destiny is dead. That's all I have for you in this video. If you enjoyed any of the content, I want to at least spark up a little conversation about it. Let's just be perfectly honest with ourselves about this game at this point in the game's life cycle. The game isn't dead. People still play every day. The numbers might not be as high as they should or we want them to be or as they were at launch, and no game is. But let's kill the phrase the Destiny game is dead. Let me know what you think in the comment sections. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, I'll speak to you soon. Take care.